So it's episode 102 of ABC, but you wouldn't know it. You would think this is episode 98 or whatever was the last one I was. Whatever the last one I uploaded was. I'm Eric.
I mean, by the
Brandon.
time you upload this, will be episode 101. Will be the last one you've uploaded. I'm Nick.
You don't know that. I could upload this one first and the other one. Anyways, I'm
I mean,
Brandon,
you could.
and
We're
we're
definitely not
here
professionals.
to talk about Wait, Listen to Me, Sing Yesterday to Me, and Fruits Basket in that order.
Yep.
Because we're about an episode away from the end of each show. Well, actually, only
Nope.
Wait, Listen to Me.
Only one of them.
Only one of them. Wait, Listen to Me has one episode left. Sing Yesterday to Me has 7 episodes left, I think.
I think so.
I still have no idea how the last 6 episodes are going to be pushed out. Because I think Anichar still says it's 12 and 12, or 11 out of 12. And then Fruits Basket still has about 14, I think. It's got the second core left. So we've got
Would
that
you
to look
go
forward to.
for the next episode of Sing Yesterday to Me just being like a 3-hour long
Oh, Jesus.
special?
Maybe. But, like, I think Seeing Yesterday to Me is better enjoyed in chunks because it's kind of slow. And, like, watching 3 hours of that is, like, not the best way to watch it, in my opinion. It's not a very bingeable show. You take it as it goes, right? You watch a little bit, and, you relax. You can now go on and watch something crazy, right? It's
What
a
if the
chill
last
out show.
episode just became Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Dude, I'd fall in love.
It just yells at us halfway through about being shitty watchers, shitty viewers.
Don't do this. You're an idiot.
You're all bad people. I made a great work of art and you hated it. You
Oh,
thought
man.
my crayon drawings were tacky? I hope you wouldn't draw fucking storyboard sketches of a school scene for no reason.
It was
Oh, God.
mostly animated. We won't get into that. We've
Yeah,
already
we've already been over that.
yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Wait Listen to Me. So in this episode, we get basically the end of the Mitsuo radio show piece, and then we kind of go into like what happened afterwards. But the radio piece in and of itself ends up with Minare going into like the underworld and then having to talk about how what she feels she did wrong in her life to like the snake lady karma thing
Yeah.
in order to reincarnate. Just like the one murderer guy did in the producer's character, as well as Mitsuo, and then it's her turn. Altering it back to her reincarnating and reviving.
She was actually giving her karma to that weird mountain thing that they were sacrificing sperm to in Maho Shoujo site, actually.
Was it really sperm?
It's all
Oh my
connected.
God.
Yeah, that was a plot
Holy
point at
shit.
one point. Was they realized it was like giant sperm that were flying into the mountain. That's why
No.
in the ending there were giant sperm flying through the sky.
Wait, no, I thought that was just the ending. Was that really the part of the show?
That was part of the show. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How the fuck did I miss that?
Where they go where one of the characters finds that like spooky like next level site where like you got to see that was written there. There was a shot with like a mountain and like there was like sperm flying through the sky into the mountain.
What the fuck?
It was like a whole thing, dude.
I
remember
don't
this.
remember.
You
Oh, that,
talked about impregnating a mountain.
oh my god, I think.
You've blocked that
Oh,
show out of
God.
your memory because of Blue Hair and her brother.
No, it was blue hair, and then
Oh, and
the main
the main
character's
character's
brother.
brother,
Yeah.
yeah.
That brother was fucking annoying. Not so
But
fun
this
fact.
is Maho Shoujo's site.
Not so fun fact. The voice actor for that guy had to get vocal cord surgery.
Oh, that's too bad.
He also voiced Bakugo, and you start to understand why he needed the
Yeah.
surgery.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of yelling in his line of work.
Because he also did fucking what's his name from uh, Angels of Death.
Oh my god, yeah, he does a lot of
Psych
yelly
kid.
characters. He's kind of been typecast. I feel bad for him.
I
Like,
do too.
I just, dude, like, don't take any more of those yelly roles.
I mean, maybe he just has a normal voice, and we just don't know it because it's so different than the roles that we recognize.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He got typecast as the yelly person, even though he might just not be yelly at all.
I mean, he may be doing like non-yelly roles too. We just don't ever hear it. Is the thing.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Like his normal speaking voice may be so different than his yelly voice that we just don't recognize it.
This is true.
But he definitely does do a lot of yelly roles, and I've heard him in multiple things while we've been doing ABC.
Just
So
doing
there's been,
yelly
like,
roles.
consecutive seasons he's been doing yelling, which cannot be good for him, and clearly has not been.
Anyways, this is about radio.
But yeah, my shitty joke aside, this is about Wait, Listen to Me. It's the radio show was really cool. It made sense once they did the reveal that the spirit demon, creepy mountain thing, three-headed lady, was actually voiced by somebody who was actually like live doing the voice and not
Right.
just some pre-recorded thing.
I was
It made
wondering,
sense
like,
then.
how did this work? As I was watching it, I wondered, like, this doesn't make sense. How's it responding to her? Because it's all an ad lib.
Yeah.
At some point, I think she mentions that the voice is generated using the producer's voice, and then just kind of flubbed, like,
Yeah.
kind of like how they did Mitsuo's. But that's just wrong. It was actually the other radio show host lady who did it.
Uh-huh.
The short-haired, blue-haired girl,
Yeah.
bluish hair,
The one from episode
the one from episode one,
2. Yeah.
the one that got pissed off.
The one who, we were kind of convinced was going to be an arc, but then never did anything.
Yeah,
Again.
now we
So
have
I
one
guess
episode
we
left,
just-
so
Yeah.
might
And
be
I'm assuming it's going to be about the brother, but we'll see.
maybe about the brother, because it could be about the brother. It could also be the helper, the assistant chick with the one dude. It could
Oh,
be
yeah, the
about a lot
writer.
of things. It's a lot. It's about love, Nick. It's the theme is love next episode,
Okay.
and how it hurts and how it's gonna end up killing you.
Solid.
That's
I like it.
Perfect segue into
I like it a lot.
sing yesterday to me. But yeah, I like the ratio host too. I want the writer to stay mostly because he writes the show or the show in a way that I like, which is it always ending with occult shit and weird stuff.
Uh-huh.
Aliens, perfect. Witches, oh wait, we haven't gotten that yet. Ghosts, yes. Zombies, yes. Weird gods, yes. I love it.
Well, there was the one episode where it was just a bear.
It was just a bear. You're
She
right.
just wrestled a bear in that
I
one
mean,
episode.
it could have been like a like scientifically modified bear.
It could have been, but it wasn't. It was just a grizzly.
It was a scientifically modified bear. It was sci-fi.
Whatever you say. But yeah, it was a good radio show of her,
Confronting herself.
yeah, confronting herself and sort of talking about like, if you do something wrong, you should suffer the penalties for it, and you need to be the person you are and like accept the bad things you've done and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
In the background of this, mostly what we were focused on was all the sound effects being produced.
I was really hoping
There
they
were
would.
way too many noises being produced for the two people that were doing noises.
There was about 4,
Yeah.
or about 4. I was hoping that. So this happened last episode as well. I was hoping they would keep the noises that they were making like in the universe as like in the cutscene as well. Just to kind of give it more of like an authenticity, because they did add posts like in meta wise they did add actual sound effects to the
Yeah.
cutscene,
Uh-huh.
which I felt was kind of
Yeah.
I wanted them to keep the gimmick going. It's a gimmick, but it's a nice gimmick in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, she reincarnates. Well, not really
Yeah.
reincarnates. She actually, because she doesn't want to reincarnate, because she wants to accept everything wrong that she did, the god says, "Cool, you get to live as Minari," and then she goes back up to the overworld.
Which is fair because she didn't really die.
Yeah, she didn't do anything. Well, technically, the other guy didn't die either. The
I guess
murderer,
technically, yeah, he just got pulled under the ground.
but he also lost his eye. Did you like how his eye was just like outside of his socket?
Yeah, it was just popped out of his socket somehow. Yeah, that was interesting.
Something real quick that was really fucking creepy is just the way that Mitsuo moved, and like all the creaking of his bones. Ugh, really off-putting.
Yeah,
For sure,
the crickety crackle noises as
Yeah.
he like sort of shifted around was uncomfortable.
for sure that's not about horror. It loves to use horror a lot, and I'm down with it.
I mean, we talked about this before, but when you're doing like a 3 a.m. radio broadcast, you can basically fall into one of two categories, which is
Boring.
super calming, go to sleep music, or creepy horror shit.
And super calming shit is not interesting at all. So we got that
Yeah.
horror stuff. But
Um,
after the radio show, we have a nice little party to celebrate the occasion. We find out that radio show host lady was there the entire time in another booth, voicing the Karma Snake Lady.
Yeah, the ghost thing.
But even before this, we actually get a couple of scenes that are interesting. We see that all of her friends are listening in. We get the Yankee dude, we get the sister, and we most importantly get her dad listening in. And then
Okay, that was her dad. Okay, I'm
yeah,
not
that was her
crazy.
dad. At least I'm pretty sure. I have it on good confidence that was her dad.
Okay.
And
Because there's a moment in her thing where she says some line of like, "I don't care about the rest of the world" or something to that effect.
yeah,
or I don't care about Sweden, and it reminds the dad of the girl that we've seen in like several flashbacks from the producer and the writer, who we thought was the producer's girl, or yeah, the producer's girlfriend, where she was talking about like, I don't care about America, I just want to do things in Japan, and then she gets hit by a runaway truck and dies.
Yeah, no plane here. It's a truck. It's a truck. She
It was
got
a
hit by a
truck,
truck.
and I'm going like, does the dad somehow also know the radio host?
Well,
Like actually know the radio
that's the
host?
thing though. We know that Minari's name is most likely based off of like the old lady's like motto and like what she wanted.
Yeah,
So at some point they may have met each other. I don't know. He knows her. I'm pretty sure.
we've never seen Minari's mom,
Yeah, we have.
have we?
I think
Oh,
so.
that's right. She sends us the fish. You're
She
right.
says the
She's
fish
still
and
alive.
like says some shit.
Yeah,
But she doesn't have to be the mom.
it's true. She may not actually be Minari's mom. She just could be the lady that her dad is married to.
But yeah,
But yeah,
it's true.
so I just there's this whole other thing. This is again going
There's
back
just so
to
much stuff.
the show just creates storylines that we literally do not have the time to unpack. Is this whole storyline with this old radio show host that we just full on cannot go do now?
I feel like SpongeGar from SpongeBob, and he's just like looking around trying to figure out what to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's very much a sense of like there's so much that we could do, and even like the stuff we do, while it's good, it's still a feeling of like, but I want to do it all.
What about the other thing?
Like there's some stuff that we just didn't have time to get to, and I want to know. And like there's not an English translation of the manga, so I can't even go read the manga to find
Yeah,
out
there
about
is.
it. Is there an English
There's an
translation?
official English translation. Yes,
Oh, is there an
I
official?
looked it
Okay,
up. Yep,
that makes sense.
I'll be posting links whenever I upload this in like a year.
Solid.
Anyways, yeah, there's a manga. But yeah, there's just so much stuff, and we can't do all of it in the next episode because that's when it ends.
Yeah.
And right now, what we're going to be doing is most likely kind of tying up all the relationships. So we're going to be tying up the brother stuff, the assistant and the writer, and I don't know what else. Like the Yankee dude wants to ask out
The
Minari
sound
again.
dude.
Oh right, the sound dude fucking talked about it.
I'm assuming we're gonna do something with like the producer and his feelings on Minare's show, and maybe Minare is gonna like make a decision for what her next show is gonna be.
Yeah.
There's definitely like stuff to do, and I guess they're just gonna try and do like a sum up for everybody, as this is their last episode of the show. And we kind of need to leave characters in like a good place to end.
And I don't think it's popular enough that we're gonna get like an announcement that season 2 is happening.
That would be stunning if we got a straight out announcement of season 2.
I'd be thrilled. I'd be happy.
I would like it.
I wanna
just
know
don't think
more.
we're an immediate one. I
Yeah.
think we could have a season 2 some like a year or
Yeah,
two down the
sometime.
line. I think there is a possibility of a season 2, but I think immediately a season 2 would be kind of shocking. But it's I mean, it's a good show. And I don't know if this is just a sense of like, because it's an anime and they only have 12 episodes, that like, and they're trying to stay, true to the progression of things in the manga, that like storylines that the mangaka is like, we'll get to this eventually. Like, I'm just gonna set it up now, and maybe I get to it in like 3 volumes, whatever. I've got time.
Yeah.
And like the anime just can't do that. So like they try and stay true to the plot progression of like, Minari talks to the producer in the curry restaurant and meets the other radio show host, and like stuff gets set up for 3 or 4 volumes down the line with that other radio show host that we as anime watchers won't get to see in this season. So I think it may be just like a problem with the medium, but
Yeah, it's a
in terms
problem
of we
adapting.
can't reach some of the stuff, like we see plots set up that we'll never get to see, the resolution of.
There is an
But-
argument to be made that like if you're not gonna get to it, then just don't adapt it. But then like, what if it gets a second season? Now like you've fucked yourself.
Yeah.
It's a hard line.
And especially when like it's material that sort of flows naturally in the scene that you're adapting. Like if you want some of a scene but not some of the other scene, but
Yeah.
like the part of a scene you don't want is it, like it's hard to sort of cut around that and have it feel nice when like the flow of the manga naturally includes that middle part you don't want. So I can definitely understand from like a producer side of things how it can be hard to cut around stuff you don't want if it's sort of occurring naturally in the middle of material that you do want.
Right.
But we also got a little peek into the view of the assistant director that we've been living with for a long time, where she apparently sharpens a knife every time she's stressed. And the knife is like god tier sharp right now. Like that just sort of came out of left field. Is like this chick is super stressed out, and I'm like, this is just not something we've ever been talking about, and suddenly this is a thing. Is that this
Well,
girl is like hyper stressed?
we've seen some like instances like where she had those like murder eyes when Minari brought up the other radio show host lady,
Uh huh.
and maybe she's getting bullied, but that's like another like piece of information that we don't know enough about. We just know there's something there,
Yeah.
but haven't been given a clearer view.
And maybe that was just full on content that they did cut around. Like it
Yeah.
didn't need to be shown, and they did just cut around it. But yeah, it just sort of came out of left field where all of a sudden they were like, there's this knife that exists that she sharpens all the time.
There's a darkness in that girl.
I was so surprised that that just sort of showed up as a plot point.
And then we got some Yuri bait.
And then we get some Yuri bait as the assistant director leans in to softly whisper, "Hey, weren't you gonna listen to the radio tonight?"
Yeah, why'd she like whisper when she could just talk normally? Because she's trying to wake her up anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, it is like I guess a small apartment, so you know you can hear things that go on. And
I
it's just
mean-
like I think it's just the fact that it's night. You know, you want to naturally not talk as loud.
I think the answer is Yuri bait, realistically.
That was the answer. Is Yuri bait.
Although it was Yuri bait of Minari more than anybody. But yeah. So Minari listens to another midnight radio show
Try to get some ideas.
where they basically do like comedy gags sent in by viewers, from as far as I could tell.
Maybe. Because like at some point Minari and Desista started talking, and Mizuho started talking, and I couldn't
Yeah.
like pay attention to either or. So I just paid attention to what Mizuho and Minari were talking about, and you know.
You definitely had to make a decision. I was paying attention to a little bit of it at the beginning, and then I gave up to pay attention to Minari and Mizuho instead. But it seemed like it was the two radio show hosts. One was like doing the bit, and the other one was sort of talking about like, oh, this is so bad, like suck at singing, or like kind of playing off each other with it.
Yeah, like
It was-
back and forth.
Yeah, it was definitely a like style that they could definitely only pull off because there were the two of them. I don't think Minari could do the same thing just by herself. Because you definitely
Yeah.
need the one character to like get into it, and, like try and do the thing, and the other person to kind of be like,
Heckle him.
this is like, yeah, like you're not doing it right. You're not being funny.
You dumb piece of shit. Oh wait, you can't say that on radio.
You can't say that on radio. And it's definitely like a fine line. If he was heckling the other radio show host, he wasn't heckling the idea. Which, I mean, it was in terms of like presenter, audience
Right.
interaction sort of thing, is the important thing to do.
Don't make fun of your fans.
Yeah,
We've already failed.
we've already
Were-
failed.
were
We have
you-
no fans though.
were you writing notes on like how to treat your fans? Because
Was
I was,
No.
and I was writing down, don't do. Make
have
fun of your
to
fans?
have fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the things I wrote.
Brandon, you have to understand. Yeah, we would have to have fans for me to give a shit about how I treat my fans.
This is true.
I've said this before, but I wouldn't want to be a part of any group that would have me as a member.
Oh, now I'm sad.
And that especially includes people who want to support me if they're making a mistake.
Oh, 100%.
But it was a solid episode altogether.
Yeah.
I could not get over the fucking comedy of the slide whistle.
Oh my god, they use it so many
That
times.
sound effect was so. Yeah, they used it like 2 or 3 times in the previous episode at the very end. Where I mean, you knew it was going to happen because they were talking about like, oh yeah, use it to like do ghost noises of like woo.
Ooh.
And you're like, okay, I get it. You're doing like ghost spooky shit. But all of a sudden they were whipping out for like teleporting sounds and like weird, like
Or
weird
going into the
squishing
underground.
noise. Going into the underground. They like used that slide whistle like 10 times. It was way too much.
More like not enough.
Oh, that slide whistle was, it was fucking comedy gold. Is what it is. I'll tell you what. But yeah, it was all together. It was very much an episode. I feel very bizarre talking about it. Like I don't know how to talk about this episode because it felt like a final episode. Like
little
the first
bit.
16 minutes were like it's a final episode. Like it wrapped things up.
Yeah, because
Like we talked about how good Minari was, and everybody cared, and like everything felt like tied up with a bow. And then in the last like 4 minutes, they're like, "But we have an extra episode, so let's set up some more stuff." Minari, figure out your
Yeah.
next show. Talk to the dude.
she
like,
has
do some
had
stuff.
her like this is her third act finishing up.
Mhm.
So we might not actually focus on Minari a lot next episode. We might focus on her helping other people out. Because I think if I remember correctly, she doesn't even really talk in the post credit scene where it previews the next episode. I don't think she actually said anything. It was mostly everyone else saying, "Hey, I have all these problems. I like this person. This
Well, they
person
all
likes that
say
person."
something.
But
They
does
all
she?
say
Does
something
she?
about like I want to have my future, or I still have feelings for something, or
Yeah.
something like that.
But
Or I
does
have
she
feelings
do
for
that though?
yeah. She
Oh,
was like the last one. She says I have feelings for
fuck.
Mitsuo. Oh wait, no, I have feelings for being a DJ.
Oh yeah. But that was a joke, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, she still says stuff.
She
Anyways,
does.
I mean,
My
the
argument
point
is
is
destroyed.
exactly. But yeah, we'll see. I do think I kind of agree of like it did wrap up Minare's side of things. So yeah, maybe we will go do some of the brother and some of the assistant director and some of the regular director and the writer and stuff like that to sort of tie up like everybody and get them all in
Yeah.
place to end the season or end the show.
With maybe a
But
cliffhanger, who knows?
yeah, maybe set themselves up to like give us a second season. There's more stuff to be told. Um, but yeah, it just felt like like a final episode for the first like 15 minutes, and then like the last 5 minutes they set up the whole, Minari, go figure out your next show, do
Yeah.
some more stuff, talk to the curry guy.
We still have an episode left. We timed this wrong.
We need more content. So yeah, it was watching it. I had to keep reminding myself like this is only episode 11. Like I have to not talk about this as though it's a final episode because
It's
it
not.
just it just had such a good air of like everybody cares and everybody supports your show. We all love you. We all think you're gonna do great things and all of that. Like that would have been such a good ending note. Like I could see that scene being the last scene, and then like the show ends after that of like Minari being like, "People support me."
I can do good. They love me. It's their job.
Yeah,
I fucking love the writer. But yeah, it definitely did have that sense. Mostly because Minari kind of has finished up her story a little bit. But we still have more, and hopefully we'll kind of wrap up some stuff that we've always had questions about. I don't know how much they'll be able to wrap up in 24 minutes with everything that they've set up. So we'll definitely see next episode.
I would expect they will wrap up less than we would like, but
More than we would.
more than we could expect. I would
Yeah.
assume. I'm assuming we're going to do something with the assistant director, possibly with the writer. Maybe with the brother lady. I could imagine maybe something with the curry dude, like the curry owner will come back maybe. Like there's so many things that could happen, like people that could show up again and have like a little mini scene that I don't know which ones they'll pick to like even guess at.
Right.
Because even now I'm getting into like 4 or 5 like little scenes and they only have 23 odd minutes to work with. So I don't know what scenes they're gonna end up choosing to do. Even if they cut out like the ending and just do like they just have an opening and then the rest of it is content. They only have so much time to work with, so I don't know which stories they're going to do, but
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm assuming they're going to try and wrap up as many as they can in what time they have left.
But yeah, that's Wave Listen to Me.
Yeah.
A wonderfully bizarre, hectic show about a woman becoming a DJ.
Yep, and we still have one more episode.
So one more episode.
No final ratings yet.
No final ratings yet. Anyways, next.
Although at this point, I don't really think if the last episode could change what my final rating is going to be.
Right, like.
Unless they somehow like completely shit the bed by
Yeah,
like.
but like, how could they at this point?
I mean, it would have
It's
to be
still possible.
like a twist on the proportions of like it was all a dream or like that,
Yeah.
or like somebody dies all of a sudden. Like it has to go fully like they have to ruin the story basically at this
It has to
point,
go
like
full
completely
Snow Globe.
destroy it. Yeah, that is the only way I think at this point it could change how I feel about the show.
Well, up next is Sing Yesterday to Me.
Yeah, it is the second show that we talk about, and I almost never have anything that I know how I want to start talking about it.
It's very hard. So there was one walking home scene that Haru had more of like a showing.
To be fair, it was unfair. There should have been 2, but we did start off at the home of Haru, so that was a little unfair.
Well,
But-
she wasn't going to be walked home because she's there.
I know.
Well, okay, so I was wrong. The crow doesn't die.
Yeah.
Instead, she gets like burgled. And
The crow is the only part of her character that we know about. We can't kill off the crow. That's her only characterization.
yeah, that's her character. That's her character. It's the chick with the crow.
It's the chick with the crow and the weird hair who works at the coffee place. That's
And
all
not
we know
that
about
weird
her.
hair.
I guess she doesn't have weird hair. But yeah, so her house gets broken into.
Yeah.
I don't
What's
think they actually steal anything, but they Wow, I forgot how to say words there for a second. But yeah, her home is broken into, and she hears it at the end of last episode, and calls Ritsuo, who rushes over
To help her out. Yep.
to make sure that she's safe. The police show up. He relays to them like, yeah, this is what happened. They agree to basically investigate it because like there's been a string of burglaries recently, so they'll investigate it in the morning.
Right.
And Haru is understandably shaken up, and Ritsuo sort of has a little conversation with her to try and like comfort her in terms of like,
Yeah.
you're still safe. Things aren't totally awful. I'm sorry this happened to you.
He decides to stay, just so she has peace of mind, and they wake up and have breakfast the next day. And most importantly, at least for this scene, is whether or not Ritsuo will tell Haru, because at this point it's official that Ritsuo and Rikuo, God, I keep calling him Ritsuo. Rikuo and Shinako are like together, and they see themselves as like a couple. And he's trying to figure out how's he gonna tell Haru, because he doesn't like really want to do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hurt her feelings.
Which is weird. Again, okay, so this is something Brandon and I were talking about before we started recording for ABC. The Sing Yesterday manga has like 100+ chapters in it.
Yeah.
And I've been complaining throughout this that like the Haru side of this thing just doesn't feel compelling. Like Ritsuo or Rikuo sitting there in Haru's kitchen as they eat breakfast, and he's trying to find a way to tell her, and to both tell her and not tell her that he's together with Shinako. It just wasn't like something I cared about, where I was kind of just going like, just tell her, man.
I could feel like the awkwardness, but at the same time, like their relationship isn't that like fleshed out, so I just didn't care. Like she just shows up at your house, dude. Just fucking tell her.
Yeah. As I was watching this episode, I was going to go back and record the number of times that Haru and Rikuo have interacted, because I do not think it's a very large amount. And then I got bored halfway through episode 1 and stopped doing that.
I think it's about as much as Shinako, but their meetings are far less fleshed out. I keep using that word.
Yeah.
They're far less. They're a lot shorter too. Like they meet. Rikuo tells
They
her
have like short, kind of superficial conversations.
and more often than not, Rikuo tells her, "Hey, stop showing up at my house. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Go back to your house. I'll walk you home."
It transitioned from stop showing up at my convenience store to stop showing up at my house.
Yeah. That's actually one reason why that relationship I don't think is really working, is because like it's always don't show up anymore, rather than hey, let's go hang out somewhere else. But in contrast to Shinako, where they both like are hanging out somewhere else, they're both talking about other things other than stop showing up at my house.
Yeah. But yeah, I assume that somewhere in the 111 chapters, because in 11 chapters, I'm assuming we have, or in 11 episodes, I'm assuming we have not adapted all of the chapters that are up to wherever we are, because our assumption is they're doing the whole story in 18 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Our assumption now is there has been some Haru-centric moments and like character arcs that they just haven't adapted, that they chose not to adapt for whatever reason, for time saving, or because they were going to do other Haru character arcs later and they just decided to save time, and they made like this half the Shinako half, and then the next half will be the Haru half.
But at this point, we're past the halfway point.
Yeah. Well, knowing that there are 111 chapters, I'm sort of with you on the train of like, this relationship, because it's the first relationship, is going to fail.
And so we see inklings in this episode.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming there's just been Haru stuff that we've missed, and like up to this point we would have cared about Haru more as a person and as a character, and we'd be like a little bit more invested in like the Haru, Rikuo, maybe it's going to be a thing, maybe it isn't. I'm assuming maybe there's some more that we just missed, but yeah, this is definitely a matter of, I think it's too ambitious of a project, in my opinion. Of doing 111 chapters and 18 episodes, it's just a little bit too ambitious, in my opinion.
If what I said last time is going to hold true, that Rikuo and Shinako were going to split up, and then Haru would come in, you'd still have to have Haru episodes and like show the relationship progressing. Yeah. Because like right now,
if that's set up before the end of Shinako.
If that does happen, then like you're just like, okay, whatever. Like the other one was more interesting, even though like you may not like it. It was, in my opinion, a bit more interesting. Now he just kind of gets together with Haru for no other reason than he felt bad for her.
Right.
Because that's what we've seen so far, is that he just kind of feels bad for her, and that's it.
Yeah. She's the warm body that's near him. Um, and that sort of happens in this episode. So after he leaves Haru, he sort of hangs out with Shinako for a while.
You can see them being completely awkward. Like you can see, we basically see them be complete dorks the entire time.
Yeah.
It's a little charming, in my opinion.
It was kind of cute. They have some food. Shinako makes some food. Riko makes some food. They eat together. They have some,
It's been 3 months.
Yeah.
Did that catch you off guard? That's been 3 months.
A little bit, yeah. Again, plot progression that happens off screen. Although to be fair, not very much progression because as in one of the scenes, Rikuo goes in for a kiss and it's still too early for Shinako. So clearly she's moving on from her boyfriend, but much like at the pace of the show, at a glacial pace.
Yeah, she still has like a insecurity. Insecurities? Would it be insecurities?
Reservations.
Anxieties, reservations. Yeah. One of them
still not ready to fully give up her ghost of a boyfriend.
Yes, or maybe not a ghost of a boyfriend, but just be very like a skinship with. I guess that's the word. I don't know. Touchy feely with Rikuo.
Yeah.
We get her wing sensei telling her just to fuck him already again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! What advice?
I mean, for her, it's her whatever. It's not her life. She's like, go for it. I would.
Yeah. Just throw him down on the bed and just go to town. But another part of Reservation is also Ro.
Yes.
Because like there's a mirroring happening where Rikuo doesn't want to tell Haru that they're together, and then Shinako doesn't want to tell Ro that they're together. Mm-hmm. And both in this episode figure it out and find out that hey, Shinako and what's his face, Rikuo are now an item.
And the scene where, because we've had not Rikuo, I'm sorry.
Ro.
We've had Ro sort of following around Shinako like a puppy for a while now. Like, we know fully all about, like, his sort of obsession with her and their whole thing. So you kind of understood... I'll say understood. You can understand Ro's sort of feeling of betrayal when he sees Shinako and Rikuo together. And the scene with Haru, while I understand it, while I understand that, yeah, Haru cares about Rikuo, again, we talk about not compelling. Like, Haru has this whole thing of, like, oh, it's not fair that you're together with him after all this other stuff.
But despite the fact you said, like, it's gonna be a war, we're gonna fight each other and that shit. Anyways.
Yeah. It just didn't feel like it was a war because it was all Shinako scenes and no Haru. Like, there was no war over Rikuo. Shinako just won by default, it felt like. Because she had all of the good romancy scenes with him where Haru had none.
And to contrast it with Ro, at least with Ro, we understood that Ro really, really cared about Shinako, as annoying as it was.
Yeah.
Or as annoying as he is.
Like, we understood their dynamic and the whole, like, Shinako didn't want to go there and Ro was trying to, like, Ro was in love with her and willing to be, like, the surrogate of his dead brother. Like, we understood their relationship. We knew what was going on and, like, how, as weird as it was and as how much we don't want Ro and Shinako to end up together, we understood what he was feeling. And, like, when he saw Rikuo and Shinako together, we understood why, like, we could really understand and connect with why he was upset. Yeah. With Haru, it just didn't feel like I cared. Like, yeah, you had the whole, we're gonna have a fight, and yes, I get that you're in love with Rikuo, but Shinako won, lady.
How dare you hook up with her? Despite the fact that I told you to.
I thought that I told you to. You get... my favorite scene of that whole thing was Haru doing the whole, like, oh, it's so unfair of you. And I'm like, unfair? Like, she's had all of the scenes. If anything was unfair, it's the people who were writing the show who gave you none of the scenes. They were unfair.
I don't know if it's any... So, I'm thinking back to what happened with Ro, and I don't think it's enough scenes, because Ro also didn't get a lot of scenes, but we still understood everything about him. Mm-hmm. I think if there were things cut, we may have cut the wrong things out. Right?
Maybe just being left with all of the times where Rikuo said, Haru, go home. Right?
Instead of like the, hey, like, let's talk about, if we're friends or not, that type of stuff got cut for some fucking reason. We can't know because we haven't read the manga. I would like to read the manga and see, like, and kind of like have a retrospective on this. But yeah, as of right now, Haru is like an okay character, but she's more of a side character than Ro, honestly,
Yeah,
in my
she
opinion.
really does. That was sort of what my point in trying to count the number of Haru scenes there were, was I was going to try and say like she has had, substantially fewer than you would expect for a main character. And then I gave it up because there were 11 episodes and would have taken way too much time to do for a
Yeah,
very quick point. Um, but yeah, she doesn't feel fleshed out. And it's something I keep going back to is even if we don't need to know everything about a character. One of the
right.
things I talked about last time was I wanted to know like more about who she was and what she was doing and what she wants. We don't need to know everything about her. I don't need to know her down to her bones. But like they have to give me something more than what we have. Where we got in episode 1 a very small taste of how Rikuo and Haru met. And then that is just supposed to have carried us through to episode 11. And like they've never built on that. They've never built more than like he was nice to her this one time and they had sort of this connection and then she like kept an eye out for him and followed him around and yeah. Like they never built on that. They never really established more of like a why Haru was so affected by that sort of thing. They haven't built up their relationship very strongly. They haven't showed them even like being friends or like hanging out outside of work
Right.
voluntarily on both of their parts. Like it's almost always been Haru shows up and Rikuo just says, "Haru, go home."
Haru, it's unsafe. Go back to your house.
Yeah, go back to your house. Stop hanging around my convenience store. Stop hanging around outside of my door. And so I just sort of want like I don't want everything. Like I don't want to ask for the world in terms of Haru. They don't have enough time to do all of Haru.
Just
They have to
more.
equally split time between the two. Just yeah, something more
Maybe
that
not
makes it
more,
when
but more interesting.
yeah, enough that so when Haru shows up and sees Rikuo and Shinako together,
Like he's got to rip you
I
apart.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I care that she's hurt by that. As it stands, I didn't care that she was hurt. I could kind of understand it because she has a thing for Rikuo, and seeing the
Right.
guy you like with somebody else is understandable.
There's that betrayal aspect, but you need to build it up to really kind of push it home.
Yeah. There's a difference between understanding what the character is going through and really feeling what the character is going through. And while I could understand it, I didn't really feel it from Haru. That's what I want, and I think that's what the show needs to be like a really compelling drama. And maybe it is done, well in the manga, and it's just an unfortunate fact of they're doing 111 episodes or 111 chapters in 18 episodes. They just couldn't get the tone right to do it. But I just think, as so far with the anime, it's been a little hit or miss. The Shinako stuff has been good. The Rose stuff has been okay, even if we don't like Ro and Shinako together as a thing. Like they've done Ro pretty good. Like they've done Rose side well. They've even done like some of the Rikuo solo stuff pretty okay, even if we did skip all of the plot of him learning how to do photography.
You know what? I think that's what got cut was all that photography stuff.
Still a little bit salty about that one.
I kind of wanted, I
Um,
wanted to watch him do this shit.
yeah, I wanted to watch him grow as a person. But I think one of the major things that got cut or was done poorly, could have been done better. We'll phrase it that way. Was the Rikuo Haru dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know fully how to phrase it. It's we talk a lot about like the decisions of the producer or the director in terms of like creating the show and how they
Yeah.
have to make decisions of how things like how to cut things. I almost can't blame them now. Like knowing that there are 111 episodes or 111 chapters that they had to choose from, like that has got to be such a daunting task that to pull it off, like to have pulled off this anime perfectly, would have been a masterstroke.
To pull it off in 18 episodes. If they had
In
more
18
episodes,
episodes.
they could have done
Yeah.
more with it.
I would have liked to have seen this be a 25 episode anime now.
Yeah,
Like if they'd
four
had 25
chapters
rather
per,
than 18,
that'd be
I think maybe they could have done it better.
yeah. So, given that, now that I know that it's that long, I don't think that the Shinako and Rikuo are going to split, or if they do split, they're going to get back together.
Do you think so?
Mostly because Haru's been. So my reasoning is this is going to like a meta-analysis of how they made the show. The
Hmm.
reason they're not focusing on Haru is because she doesn't win. Because she doesn't hook up with anyone. She doesn't.
Ah, okay.
She doesn't get together with Rikuo. Instead, it's Shinako and Rikuo who get together, and that's why we're focusing more on that because that's a better payoff at the end. And they
Do you think
just,
we'll do like a 1-2-1 thing where he starts with Shinako, like some way through he'll go to Haru and then go back to Shinako at the end?
I would expect no. So what I'm thinking with completely baseless is Rikuo and Shinako will have issues. They'll split up for a bit, and then
Uh-huh.
Haru and Ro will help both of them out, and they'll get back together.
Okay.
The main arcs for Haru and Ro will be to get over their love, and then
Huh.
help two characters who couldn't get over theirs.
Yeah. Um, who almost got over there as they were right on the cusp of it and then just completely regressed.
Yeah,
Yeah. Still salty about that too.
I mean they're
That'll be
hooking up
interesting.
now, so well they're not hooking up, but like they're
They're
together
not hooking.
now,
Yeah.
so we'll see how long that lasts. But speaking of
Yeah.
the relationship, there is kind of that turbulence where Shinako's not really ready to go further with their relationship, and Riko is okay with waiting, but the real question is how long.
Yeah. You did ask last time if we thought the characters were going to hook up.
You mean
As
fuck?
this episode as this episode is now finished and everything we saw, I think last time I said I thought they might. I don't know if I think that anymore.
I think they will. I still think they will at some point.
I'm less certain. Maybe next episode will be too late and like the end of their relationship may already have like will reach us in the end by the end of next
Right.
episode. But I would be more certain by the end of next episode whether or not they will hook up. But right now, I think last time I said a tentative yes, a maybe bordering on a
This is the show
yes.
that could do it in a good way, and it still is. I think we
Hmm.
don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah,
I still think it will. I'm still in the yes train right now.
my
Uh,
maybe is slowly turning towards no.
okay.
We're now more firmly in the middle,
The
I
pendulum is
think.
swinging the other way.
Yeah, because Shinako is very hesitant. I mean,
Yes.
it's been 3 months and they haven't kissed, and I'm going like their relationship. Like the next episode can't be like 1 year later.
1 year later, Shinako's there with a kid.
That would be amazing.
It's the
But
quiet
yeah,
ones, Nick.
with the dead boyfriends. Yeah.
Here,
Um,
put this ice on your lips.
Ooh, body, how long have you been dead? 72 hours.
Oh, ew,
Motor's
bloating.
floating. Oh, 12 hours.
Oh, perfect.
Excellent. Oh god, shout out to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
The awkward corpse sex.
Weird, yes or no? Weird. Um. Anyways, yeah, that's saying yesterday to me. Oh, something I wanted to praise real quick. I
Oh,
talked about the subtle nuances in the way they animated their features, you know, kind of quivering and moving and all that jazz. Something else I forgot to mention was actually that they also do that with their voices. Despite the fact that the Haru scene wasn't that great, I thought that Rikuo and Shinako's reactions were good. Because when Rikuo tries to call out to Haru, you can hear him crack his voice. Like you can hear him trying to like vocalize her name, and like
uh-huh.
it doesn't actually come out until like he really forces it out. And like it's happened multiple times, and I love that. It's fucking cool.
That is pretty cool. I did not catch that, but that is
Like
some very good attention to detail in the voice acting
you
or
can
the voice directing.
hear like basically his throat kind of croak up.
Uh-huh.
And this is for all the characters. It happens, I think, quite often. If you're listening on speakers, you might not hear it as well. You need like maybe headphones or something. But like, it's I really like it. It's fantastic. It's just that extra little bit of push to really make you care about the characters. As characters, I don't know about the romance part of it. That part's kind of been a little iffy.
Yeah.
At least Haru's side. But now, Ro knows that Shinako and Rikuo are together.
Yep.
He may or may not be getting cucked. He doesn't know that. Um, and now he's probably
Yeah.
gonna throw a hissy fit.
Do you think he's gonna go date somebody from his art school, college, whatever he's at this point?
I don't know. Fuck you, I'm gonna go to save someone my own age. And Shinnok would be like, okay, yeah,
That's what I
that's fine.
wanted this whole
Yeah, go
time.
ahead. It's gonna completely backfire. He's gonna go try to hook up with Haru.
That would be a hell of a development.
I
They've
wouldn't.
met once, right?
Yeah, they've met once, and I wouldn't mind it if they actually had like scenes together, but
Yeah.
they've only met once.
Maybe they'll have more scenes in, like over the next couple episodes. We still have 7 episodes.
They could start like helping each other through this turbulent time where their two love interests are kind of just holding hands.
Yeah.
Not even holding hands. They didn't hold hands the entire time.
Eating dinner in the same room.
Eating
Yeah.
dinner in the same room, yes. Being a couple who have the marriage rings that says they can't have sex until they're married, or have
Oh, promise rings,
unclean
yeah.
thoughts. Yeah, there you go, unclean thoughts.
Unclean thoughts.
They've got
Yes, promise rings. The classic trap.
But I think we'll see what happens. Whether or not I'm right and they're gonna hook up, I'm I'm going back on my word or my theory. I'm thinking that Shinnok and Rico are gonna stay together. Um, but I think there's still a large. I think that possibility that they are gonna split up is still very much there.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So
Yeah.
when I went to go watch the episode, I saw a comment that said "yikes," and then a couple things, and I wanted to kind of like, oh no, I didn't want to see spoilers, and I thought, oh, something like huge happened. But this is suggestion to me, and the huge thing that happened is some people saw others with
Yeah.
each other.
People got their relationship got found out.
All right, if this was any other show, if this was Domestic in the Kanajo,
Oh
a
my
bitch would have
god.
gotten run over by a car.
Yeah.
That's what the yikes would have been.
I mean, yeah, there was Domestic Kanojo had fucking more crazy developments in the first episode that were not deserving of yikes by the 7th episode. Like, shit happens in episode 1 where you were like, damn, and by episode 7 you were like, that's just regular. This other shit, that shit's the extra stuff.
Fucking wild. But yeah, that's the thing that showed to me. I'm still liking the show. We'll find out how we get to watch it after episode 12 comes out.
Yeah. I do kind of hope they just batch release the end. I mean, they probably won't. I imagine they'll still do like week to week. Maybe they'll take
Yeah.
like a hiatus for a couple weeks, but I would kind of like it if they just sort of batch release like there's
And here's
episode
the
12
rest.
and here's the rest.
Yep. So we're back with Fruits Basket.
Yeah. So this was the last episode that I have
The
Red.
last development.
was the appearance of Akito to Toru. And I assume this is the revelation, or supposed to be the revelation of Akito is the god of the Zodiac.
Not to toot my own horn, but I called this shit back last year or whenever the first season came out.
They were very heavy-handed with it,
It
so
was-
it's not super surprising.
Yeah,
I feel like,
it was not a secret.
but yeah. So Akito basically throws a fit for the first half of the episode, where he complains about Toru being all uppity about, oh, she thinks she's saved Kyo and Yuki. Which I like the fact that Akito uses the phrase "saved" as though she's acknowledging the fact that she's fucking up Kyo and
She
Yuki.
100% understands that she's kind of a piece of shit.
Like, she's not even lying to herself and being like, I'm doing good by them, and Toru just thinks she's saving them. She doesn't know. She fully understands, like, I'm intentionally fucking them up, and
Yeah.
Toru's ruining it. But yeah, so she kind of throws a fit to Shigure about
You're not
Toru,
kind to me anymore.
and then throws a fit about Shigure of, you're not kind to me anymore. You used to care for me more back then.
Which I guess brings me to a point. I guess we're supposed to take that Akito and Shigure about the same age. I didn't know. Like, Akito's age at this point has been nebulous to me. I just didn't know how old he was, or she was.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, about Shigure's age now, I guess.
I guess.
Along with Satori and Ayame. Maybe a
Yeah,
little bit younger.
The age thing of the Zodiacs is a little bit weird, especially because as Akito shows up in front of Toru and starts to espouse her whole view on the Zodiac children and what she wants for them, she has this idea of they will all come stay at her compound together because she's a cult leader,
Yes.
and they'll live together forever,
An eternal
having
banquet.
an eternal banquet until the end of time, until they die together. It was very much like a speech of, on the one hand, she's acknowledging like, yes, they're going to die at some point, and on the other hand, she was talking about like, we'll be together forever and we'll do this, like we'll never age and all this other stuff. We were going like, I don't understand. Like, is this some magic shit where like you guys
No.
are just gonna be fucking stuck in like the eternal banquet of never aging, or
Oh,
are you
Nick,
acknowledging like you're gonna die at some
Nick,
point?
the internal banquet is suicide. Nick, they're gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
This is Jonestown all over again.
She's actually a fucking cult leader.
It's Akito Town, yeah.
It's a Soma
Um,
state.
The Soma State.
Where's the ATF when you need them to fuck everything up again?
Yeah.
Was
But
the
yeah,
ATF?
it's no, it was a senator.
I thought it was the FBI.
Who came with him? I don't remember.
No. The senator got shot.
Yes.
But I'm wondering like who fucked up the raid. I think it was
Nobody.
the FBI. Nobody raided Jonestown?
No. It was a health and wellness check by a senator.
I'm thinking Waco.
Yes, you're thinking of Waco. That was I don't actually know.
It was
I
either
wanna say
ATF or FBI. I don't remember which
I
one.
want to say it was FBI, but I might be wrong. But no, Jonestown was a health and wellness check by a senator. He basically saw what was happening at Jonestown and went back to report that it was bad. Bad things were being done to American citizens.
Yeah.
The cult leader sent some armed gunmen after him who killed the senator, or maybe it was a delegate of the House of Representatives, but he killed him, and then knew that that was going to come out. Like that was not something that they could keep under wraps forever.
Yeah, and that's when the
And so he
Kool-Aid came
then
out.
committed mass suicide with all this cult, and then news choppers descended on that. We got nice live footage of all of the dead people in the field. Yeah, it was not a good time. Very bad. But yeah, so Akito Town, or the Soma Estate, where she intends to keep all the Soma children forever, as she sort of tells Toru, she tries to basically mentally break Toru, much like she did to Kyo in the last episode and Yuki before that, by telling her, like, you're not all that. You're just a fucking whiny, snot-nosed brat, and you don't know anything, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna belittle a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
I'm an adult. It was very much a sense of, like, seeing her, like, this whole thing begins with Akito basically fucking socking Momiji in the face.
Yeah, like a piece of shit.
Yeah, like a piece of shit. But we've already acknowledged that, like, Akito is an abusive asshole. And it was one of those things, like, as Toru kind of steps up and Akito has those crazy murder eyes that she's had before. And I really didn't exactly remember the progression of this, but we knew that Akito had a penchant for violence. And I was thinking to myself, like, if Akito, like, just straight up smacks Toru around for a little bit, like, that's just straight up assault. Like, at that point, Toru should just go to the police and have them arrest Akito. Like, she can't be like, I'm a god! I'm a golden god!
I'm a god, you can't hurt me.
The police aren't gonna listen to Akito. And she does. Akito does actually assault Toru. She gives him a solid, like, 3 scratches across the face. At that point, if I was Toru, I'd just go to the cops and have them arrest Akito. Bing, bang, boom, it's over. Akito's in jail for assaulting you.
I wonder what, like, if that was a development, how would the writer go around it? Maybe that, like, the Soma State is, like, paying off the police in some way?
Maybe.
Right?
I'm assuming the Soma State, like, I'm assuming the reason why Akito gets away with what they do is the Soma State is, like, so culty and insular that, like, the...
Right, they won't say anything. They'll protect
Yeah, like,
Akito.
nobody says anything. I don't know how Akito would, like, avoid getting arrested if Toru reported her.
Right, we already know she's assaulted multiple people who could have gone to the police, but they didn't. At the very least, for the Somas, they probably didn't do it because if they did, they would be, like, basically lynched.
Yeah.
But
for Toru,
yeah,
she's an outside person who's not related to Akito, not related to any of the Soma. It's like, it's not like she's gonna be outcast by the Soma family or anything. She's not part of their family. So, yeah, I don't know what would happen if Toru, like, I don't know as a plot point, if Toru were to go to the cops, I don't know how they would try and escape that one.
Yeah. But I guess in this case, it's best just not to bring it up.
Yeah. I would assume that they would have to go with some sort of, like, they've been paying off the cops or something, but, yeah.
But anyways.
In this case, yeah, the assault is only 3 scratches across the cheek, and I guess maybe Toru just doesn't think of going to the cops for that.
And what a hero Momiji is, trying to protect Toru there.
Yeah. Momiji runs off to get Shigure and Hattori.
Well, the first thing he does is, like, he gets in front of Toru.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first Toru gets in front of
yeah,
Momiji,
Toru gets in front of Momiji.
and then Momiji gets in front of her.
No,
Does he?
Momiji runs away.
Oh, he does run away. Damn. I was looking
Originally,
at.
Momiji tries to stand up for Toru by refusing to wake her up. Because Akito shows up and
Yeah,
Momiji
that's
sees
what it
her
was.
standing outside of the house awkwardly, and Momiji like walks aside and is like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Akito says like, "Oh, I'm here for Toru," and Momiji basically refuses to go wake her up,
If Momiji
even
was a
though she
real
gets punched
G,
in the face.
he would have locked the door, flipped the finger, and just run off.
he he just locks eyes with Akito through the window, slowly locks the door and closes the curtains, turns the lights off, and leaves.
Yeah.
That would be legend status.
Uh,
And while that's absolutely what he should have done, yeah, he does go outside, ends up getting punched in the face, and Toru arrives. Akito has basically tries to mind break Toru. We learned that Akito is the god, and that the other Soma, who's
surprise,
been sort of,
surprise.
yeah, awkwardly following around Akito, is the rooster.
Surprise,
So now
surprise.
we have met all of the Zodiacs,
Yeah, plus the god.
plus the god. Although it is important to note that we haven't actually seen the rooster transform.
No.
I think we've seen everyone else transform, haven't we?
Um,
The only one
I
I
believe so.
don't remember is the monkey.
Yeah, I think she does, or he does.
We have seen the monkey? Okay. He
think
was the only
so.
one that I was kind of uncertain of.
Actually, I don't think he does, because he shows up, has like this interaction with Toru, but I don't think they touch.
Do they not?
I don't think so.
'Cause I remember he shows up in the kimono, and I feel like maybe he did, and that was how we found out that it was a guy, not a girl.
I don't remember. I think he just outright says that he's a dude.
Okay. Um, but yeah, so maybe we haven't also seen the monkey transform. So maybe we haven't seen two of the Somas transform.
Yeah, the monkey's not really important though, as from what we've
It's
seen.
true.
Like,
We haven't seen him
it
again.
doesn't really show up. And also, Ayame has not shown up yet, and we have one day left.
It's true. Maybe Ayame is just not coming. Maybe I was wrong. I thought they mentioned Ayame.
They did mention Ayame. The bunny Moji does say that he specifically invited Ayame. He does this to get a raise out of Yuki.
Okay.
But anyways, after that, Akito calls Kureno, tells him like, "Hey, he's the rooster. I already assaulted you, so I'm gonna peace out. Bye." And we find out that Yuki, Kyo, and Haru, yes, Haru.
Yeah.
I'm confusing my Harus here.
Understandable.
Are basically watching, and Haru was holding Kyo back because he didn't want to see. He did not want Kyo to get in trouble because he was gonna lay someone out.
Yeah.
But Momochi went to go get Shigure and Hattori, and they come and help out Toru.
Yeah. And after they sort of pack Toru off to bed, and the children, which is the tiger and the bunny, who both sleep in her bed to basically calm down, Toru sort of starts to have an epiphany, which is interesting that having epiphanies about who you are and what you want are so closely linked to being abused by Akito. But yeah,
Aw,
she's a
that's
way
so
of, I guess,
sad.
beating sense into people. That's an unfortunate one. I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, so as they go off basically the next day as a little family unit to enjoy some fireworks out on the beach, Toru basically decides that after hearing Akito talk about the fact that she wants to imprison Kyo and trap all of the other Zodiac
And to
members in this
protect
eternal
them.
banquet, she wants to help Yuki and Kyo, who both sort of found a new reason to live and something to wish for, and help the others who all must have something they desire or they are afraid to hope to desire. She wants to find a way to basically break the curse and allow them to have the lives they dream about.
Right, and from what I gathered, from what I read of the text, it was that kind of Akito wanted to keep everyone basically insular, wanted to have everyone surrounded by her, and kind of protect them that way from like the outside world. Because there's always like this dichotomy between the outside and the inside. And then with Toru, she kind of at first in the episode says how she wants to protect everyone, and at the end kind of flips on that and thinks that it's fine that they're going to be let out into the world. That's because that's what's best for them, because that's how they're going to learn and grow. And it's not going to happen if she kind of keeps them locked away as Akito's trying to do.
Yeah.
And now, like, the curse is no longer becoming about them turning into animals. The curse is now Akito. Akito is being portrayed as the actual curse, being tied by her.
because it's very much now, yeah, not a sense of the curse of turning into the animal, but so much as the curse of because you turn into the animal, all of the bad shit that comes with it. Having to associate with Akito and all of the bad touch that Akito does. Yeah. So,
Metaphors.
yeah, Toru is trying to find a way to break the chains built by Akito, break the curse, and allow them to basically go out into the world. Because it's been something that's also come up a few times before, is basically characters have said or shown that as Somas and as Zodiacs, having normal relationships with the outside world is very difficult. We saw it with Hattori, where, you know, he tries to have a relationship with the one girl and ends up getting hurt, and she ends up having a mental breakdown. And so we see that sometimes, like, the connection with the outside world as a Zodiac Soma is difficult. But now Toru wants to basically find a way to bridge that gap and let them have the lives they want to have with the outside world
You just
and
did
not be stuck on the Soma
for
state all the time.
Hattori, the lady wasn't outside though of the family. She was part of the Soma clan.
Oh, that's right, she was, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, she was a non-Zodiac member
Yeah, she was a non-Zodiac member.
who didn't
Also,
know about the Zodiac also.
more specifically, she was not Akito.
Yes. Akito has problems, dude.
Akito has a lot of problems. She's fucking crazy.
Akito wants to have her own little harem.
Yeah, and Ashiguro's left it for reasons I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's more. There's another point to the Shigure's trying to do something good, but maybe in a schemy way. Well, we know it's a schemy way, but now it's another point to the good because Akito sees that or believes that Shigure's up to some shit, and I want to know what the shit is. I can't wait. I want to know what the shit is. I want the plan
We've
to
definitely
go.
seen, Shigure is playing both sides of the fence, it feels like.
I'm playing both sides, so I can't lose.
So he's being all buddy buddy with Akito, and at the same time is definitely scheming something up.
Yeah. You reap what you sow, Akito. I miss English Shigure's voice. I don't dislike the voice of Japanese Shigure, but there's just a special place in my heart for English Shigure.
Okay, that's fair. Is it just that one voice line, or is it all of, English
That's
Shigure?
all of Shigure.
Okay.
I'm gonna do water.
But yeah, so we have Toru basically forming a vow for the future and sort of establishing for the rest of the show what she's going to be about, what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, helping the no, not the Akitos, helping the Somas.
Yeah. I think your prediction was that she was going to replace Akito as the god, correct?
Maybe. Either she's gonna replace Akito, because all the Somas are gonna be like, yeah, Akito is no longer our god, and because this is a democracy, we will now vote for Toru.
Okay, interesting.
Either that or she actually helps Akito out. Although I'm not entirely sure how
Yeah,
that would go.
that would be the day.
Like, is Akito also like a victim of abuse and is now abusing everyone else because of that? Or does
Perpetuating a cycle of violence. I mean,
yes,
dude, Akito's straight up off her rocker. Like, Toru
Or-
magic can only do so much to fix people.
right? Or is it because she's a god, like she's the actual god of the Somas, that she's now like been propped up and now she feels like she's better than everyone else, and decides to be a piece of shit to everyone?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I kind of don't think that she's going to replace Akito or fix Akito. I think that she's going to find a way to sever the Zodiacs from Akito. So I think she's going to, like, one by
Right.
one, sort of find ways for them to no longer be connected to Akito. So that there's no more need for a god or the banquet or
Right.
any of that.
That
Whether
would
that
make
comes with
sense.
actually breaking the curse or just getting rid of Akito, we'll see.
That would make sense because then no one is an outsider,
Hmm.
and that would let Kyo into like the group,
Yeah.
like kind of officially. The only reason I think that might not happen is because of the first scene we see in the show, which is a very serene god, like surrounded by all the animals.
Right.
And right now, serene is not a word I would use to describe Akito.
Fair.
But serene, what's her face? Toru can be serene at times. She's still a complete mess of a person sometimes.
I will say to your credit, the last shot of the ending, the current ending, it ends on a shot of the banquet with all of the animals, the cat included,
Oh,
in a circle.
I didn't notice that. Oh, which
So,
reminds me, this brings us to the segment of the show called Brandon's Overanalysis Corner, where
go
I,
for it.
I overanalyze one scene that makes probably no fucking difference. And that is when Yuki decides to give up his seat for Toru, signifying that Yuki will not win. It'll be Kyo that wins, because Yuki is giving up his place in Toru's heart.
Wow.
Hence, the passage of the seat.
Wow. That is, I mean, a leap and a half into the deep end.
I still think that Kyo's gonna win, though.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is a fair thing to feel. That over-analysis of that scene. I mean, last time with the water running thing, maybe there was something there to
What?
say
Wait.
about Akito's character.
Oh, yeah, the water thing. I
The
forgot
sync-
about
the sync-
that.
Yeah, that was last time. The sync running thing, maybe there was something there to analyze about Akito's character based on that. It was definitely a dick move. This time, I mean, that is fucking. You took a running leap into fucking just blind space.
Nick, this isn't Brandon analyzes something and has evidence to back it up. This is Brandon overanalyzes something.
I mean, still though, like, this is gonna fucking just. You're gonna get a teeth full of dirt here. I feel like.
I'll eat that fucking dirt. I'll fucking do it.
Okay, we will see in 30 episodes,
episodes.
whether or not you will be correct or not. But yeah.
So,
So on that note,
Hold on, Nick.
Toru fucking. Okay.
would you accept it if we get a scene later on where Yuki tells Kyo, like, Toru likes you more than she does me, like, you should be with her? Would you accept my overanalysis to be in line? If that, like, a scene like that happens?
I fucking fine. I'll give it to you. Fuck it. Who cares? I'll give it to you. That scene's not gonna fucking happen.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like a scene like that could happen, irregardless of what I said about the seat. I feel like a scene like that might be a thing.
I mean, it could. It
Yeah.
very well could. I'm saying
Whether that's related to the
odds
seat
that
is
it is a scene is like 1%. I feel like.
a little less than that. Let's be honest here.
I feel like Kyo and Yuki having an honest conversation, their feelings for Toru, and Yuki being like, "I'm going to say that she loves you more than me and give up my chance with her." There's like a 1% chance they have a conversation that civil.
Well, we'll see in 30 episodes what
We're
happens.
talking about characters who can barely say 8 words to each other without fighting.
We shall
Um,
see.
Yeah, we will.
Who does
So yeah,
wait?
fuck it.
Who does Toru see first? Was it, I think it's Yuki, right?
It's Yuki.
Okay, cool. If we go by the anime rule, whoever it gets seen first wins, then Yuki will win.
Okay.
But I refuse to acknowledge that shit.
Okay. If we get that scene, I will acknowledge you. I don't know. You'll get some sort of title. You can decide on your own title.
Foreshadower? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I just want it for the
High
laughs, Nick.
foreshadower.
I just want it for the laughs.
Okay. We'll see. If we remember this episode a year and 30 episodes from now, when that scene may or may not exist.
It could happen the next season, next core.
I mean, I'm assuming if it's going to happen, it would happen next core. I'm saying I don't think next core is
Yeah.
going to come out for several months.
I thought next core was directly after this one.
Is it?
The latter 12 episodes?
No, maybe you're right.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll figure it out. Anyways, that's Fruits Basket. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Nick?
I don't believe there is.
Cool. It's time for our sellout corner. Our sellout segment.
Our sellout segment. The traditional segment, in which we sell to things that aren't actually sponsoring us.
Or really things you can sell out to.
Yeah. Sometimes we just sell to concepts. Sometimes we sell it to ourselves. But today, I'm
Fucking
selling
losers.
out to an actual thing. Although usually I sell to actual things. Brandon's more the concept thing. We've actually traded that way. Anyways, I'm selling out to Mario Party for the Wii. I think it was Mario Party 8
I hate
or something
Mario
like that. But whatever Mario Party it is, it was the one that introduced all of the awkward motion controls games, half of which suck, and the other half of which are just purely who could jerk off the fastest.
I would always
So,
win those.
if you want to have a really weird time with your friends as you play a really bizarre Mario Party, it was a Mario Party that at least was sort of fair in the sense of like
Like everyone's motion control sucked equally.
everyone's motion control sucked equally, and all of the map was accessible. There wasn't like the Mario Party 2 thing of you went to an island that you then spent the rest of the game trying to escape and could not escape.
Nick, don't bring that up.
I mean, yeah, like Mario Party 2 and 3 definitely had some problems with map design. By the Wii one, they'd kind of figured out how to design a Mario Party map again.
So it's not frustrating.
Yeah, it's not overtly unfair to a handful of players sometimes.
To this day,
So
Mario Party 6 is the only game I've rage quit.
I did almost beat Jeffrey into a pulp when we played Mario Party for the Wii, because he refused to skip one of the longest fucking cutscenes in that game. In the fucking Goomba's Booty Boardwalk, where you get the star and then get picked up by pelicans and they fly you all the way back to the beginning. And it's like a 30-second scene, and Jeff refused to fucking skip it. And I was losing, and Jeff was winning, and I wanted to beat the crap out of him by the third time.
Mario Party
yes,
for friends.
The salt aside, yeah, Mario Party for the Wii. It's intensely uncomfortable as you all try to, when you're in high school, try not to bring up why you're all so good at the soda shaking game. So yeah, Mario Party for the Wii. I think it's Mario Party 8, maybe it's 7, maybe it's 9. I don't know. They definitely had the fucking balls to just put on like, yeah, we've made fucking 10 of these things. You still buy them. So I also salute them for that. Just straight up owning the fact that there are 10 or more Mario Parties at this point. But yeah, Mario Party for the Wii. Shout out to you.
Hold on, I would like to sell out to my weekly song, and that song is I Follow You by Melody's Echo Chamber. Once again, it's a song about losing love. More specifically, this song is more about the singer singing about her ex-boyfriend who was too scared to like state anything, to express his emotions, and she didn't know what the fuck was happening and continued to be with him, hoping that he would change. Fun fact, he doesn't. I don't know why that set me laughing. It's a great song.
Laughing at your own joke.
I was laughing at myself. Anyways, that's different. The song was produced by Tame Impala, by Kevin Parker. So it's got a lot of those notes. This came out before Currents, and it's got a lot of those same kind of vibes. So if you like Tame Impala, you'll probably like the song, as well as Melody's Echo Chamber. A lot of the songs off Currents is about this girl. Oh, got me here.
All right.
But yeah, it's a fun song. Well, it's a song.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice song. It's a nice emotional song. But yeah, that's my sellout.
Solid.
Yeah.
So you got a song and video game for the week. This has been us stumbling our way through yet another episode.
It's been years. Wow,
it has been actual years.
And I feel like I've gotten even more dyslexic and more unarticulate. If that's a fucking word.
Could barely find that word.
There's a lot of words to describe English language.
Someday we'll come up on 3 years. It won't be episode 156 like you would think it would be. It'll actually be like 140 something. But yeah.
Anyways,
we'll be doing this for a long time.
Thank you for listening.
And baby, bye.